Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Bold Coco Gauff serving prediction made by Serena Williams' ex-coach ahead of return. Coco Gauff has been back to flip the double fault script and debut a new and improved serve across the rest of 2025 by acclaimed tennis coach Rick Matchie. World number 3 and two-time Grand Slam singles champion Gauff has not been in action since her U.S. Open fourth-round defeat to Naomi Osaka, the culmination of a difficult summer for the 21 when it came to her service struggles. Gauff hit a combined 37 double faults across her first two matches at the Canadian Open in late July and was again affected across the Cincinnati Open and U.S. Open, with her forehand also proving a problem in New York. Directly before the U.S. Open, Gauff split suddenly with former coach Matt Daly and hired technique specialist Gavin McMillan, who previously transformed world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka's game. Many have called for Gauff, who won the French Open title this June, to take off across the rest of the year to work alongside McMillan and longtime coach J.C. Forel to help fix the technical issues in her game. However, the American is still set to return to action at the China Open at the end of September, where she will look to defend her title. Gauff will also likely compete at the Wuhan Open, where she was a semi-finalist in 2024, before she attempts to win her second straight WTA Finals title in Riyadh. Legendary tennis coach Matchie, who has worked with the likes of the Williams sisters and Maria Sharapova in the past, has taken a keen interest in Gauff's progression over recent months. And in a new post on Twitter/X, he predicted that the 21-year-old could show progression in her serve when she takes to the court over the next few weeks. He wrote, "The remainder of the year will give us a small sample size of Coco and the serve. I feel you will see less free presence and a first serve now and then at 125 miles per hour. Watch the Del Rey dart flip the double fault script and a new built weapon she will rip." Earlier this year, Matchie spoke exclusively to Tennis 365 about Gauff's serve and suggested the changes the 21-year-old should make to her game. He commented, "So, what I would do, and even my partner Dr. Brian Gordon, who has his PhD in biomechanics, he did his thesis on this stuff. I would have her go to a platform stance. Right now she does a pinpoint, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, there are world-class servers who use pinpoint, but the corrective technique has to jolt the muscle memory, and I gotta reprogram the reflexes from the beginning. So, in a platform stance, it'd be like fresh out of the oven. And then from there, the whole timing would be very different. Her vertical component would be easier to correct. That means her upward movement." World number 3 Gauff is currently set to be the second seed for her China Open title defense, with world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka out of the event due to injury. The American was in sublime form in Beijing 12 months ago, dispatching Karolina Muchova with ease in the final to lift what was the second WTA 1000 title of her career. Flipping the script, Rick Matchie's bold prediction for Coco Gauff's serve. There's a moment in tennis when everything changes, when an athlete glimpses not just what is, but what could be. For Coco Gauff, that inflection point may be drawing near, catalyzed by one of the sport's most respected voices, Rick Matchie, once the coach of Serena Williams. Matchie's prediction is audacious, perhaps even brash, but to dismiss it would be to ignore both his track record and the raw material Gauff has: youth, athleticism, and a hunger to improve. What Matchie has said. Rick Matchie has publicly laid out a prediction that Coco Gauff's serve, particularly her second serve, can be transformed into a weapon in very short time. Some of his key statements: that her second serve can be fixed in less than 1 hour if biomechanical rewiring is applied. Sportskeeda. +1. That once it is rewired, her mental game will become bolder. Sportskeeda. +1. He's also predicted that Gauff could flip her double fault script, meaning far fewer service errors and much greater serve reliability. Tennis 365. +1. If her serve and forehand are on point, and her muscle memory properly aligned, Matchie believes Gauff could usher in a new age in women's tennis, writing new pages, winning more slams. Sportskeeda. So it's not just a tweak, it's a deep structural shift. He's speaking of reprogramming technique, of changing reflexes, of dismantling old habits. Why the concern? But why has this become a central talk point? Because lately, the serve, especially the second serve, has been a weak side for Gauff. Her count of double faults has spiked in several important matches. For example, during the 2024 U.S. Open, Gauff had 19 double faults in her fourth-round loss to Emma Navarro. Sportskeeda, +1. In the Wuhan Open semifinal, she committed 21 double faults. Tennis 365, +2. Tennis Infinity, +2. Double faults are more than just lost points. They undermine confidence, shift momentum, give opponents break opportunities, and force a player to be more cautious when serving, all of which can cascade into larger issues under pressure. The biomechanics angle. What Matchy proposes isn't just brute force adjustments. It's a technical, biomechanical overhaul. Some of his specific suggestions: move from a pinpoint stance to a platform stance, or at least exploring the platform stance, for the serve, especially second serve. Tennis 365, +2. TennisUpToDate.com, +2. Rewiring muscle memory from the ground up. Correcting improper disconnection. Improper disconnection refers to misalignments or lack of coordination in the kinetic chain. Legs, hips, torso, shoulder, arm, wrist. TennisUpToDate.com. Addressing timing, toss, upward component of the serve, so that her upward movement and vertical launch are more reliable. Tennis 365, +1. Matchy seems to believe that many of Gauff's service problems stem not from simple mental lapses or pressure, but from physical technique that under pressure falls apart because the underlying movement isn't wired properly for consistency. The mental game, from flaws to fearlessness. One of the more interesting parts of Matchy's prediction is the mental shift. He doesn't merely hope for fewer double faults. He expects that fixing the serve will allow Gauff's mental game to become bolder. Confidence and fear of mistakes are intimately bound. When a player fears that a second serve will leak free points, they serve tentatively, become reactive, or even defensive in patterns that don't suit their attacking instincts. If Gauff can break that chain, if she believes in her serve, then that serve becomes not just a liability to be managed, but a weapon to wield. Matchy's statement that once the serve is in the eye of the beholder, the mental game becomes bolder, suggests that once the serve looks correct, to coaches, to the player, even outside pressure or crowd noise will have less impact. Tennis Infinity, +1. The return, what to expect. Gauff's return to competition, following periods of technical work, coaching reorganizations, and initiatives to repair her serve, offers a small sample size where we might see Matchy's prediction come to life. Some of the upcoming tournaments she might test her improved serve and could include events like the China Open or the Wuhan Open, where she has both title defense and high expectations. Tennis 365, +1. What to look for. Reduction in double faults. Matches where the count of double faults is much lower than previous tournaments will be the first sign. Less giveaway points on second serve especially. Higher first serve percentage and faster first serves. Not necessarily a punishing bomb, but more reliable first serves, fewer letdowns, better placement. More aggression on serve. Gauff starts going for shots she might earlier have avoided, trusting her mechanics. Serve under pressure. Situations like break points, big sets, close games are where we'll see if adjustments hold up mentally. Matching the improved serve with other parts of her game. Forehand, foot speed, return game. Because serve is one pillar, not the whole house. Can it really be fixed in less than an hour? This is perhaps the most headline-grabbing part of Matchy's prediction, that the second serve issues can be fixed in less than 1 hour. That sounds almost magical. And yes, it is ambitious. But seen through certain lenses, it becomes a powerful statement about the nature of coaching, biomechanical awareness, and what often gets overlooked. Why it might be true, or close to true, sometimes the issue is not lack of practice, but awareness plus a subtle technical adjustment. If the flaw is something like a grip tweak, a stance modification, or a toss adjustment, then showing the right feel or motion and letting the muscle memory respond could produce immediate improvements in practice. In some players' cases, once the body feels the correct motion, errors drop sharply. Caveats: doing well in practice or in controlled settings is not the same as doing well under match pressure. Slight differences in wind, in fatigue, in adrenaline can re-trigger old motion patterns. So while a coach might be able to produce clean serves in 1 or 2 sessions, building consistency under competitive stress takes repeat work. Muscle memory and undoing old habits. Old habits are sticky. If Gauff has for years used a certain motion that under pressure tends to fail, causing double faults, retraining that reflex under stress might take more than an hour. Integration with other training, physical fitness, flexibility, mental rehearsal, match simulation, all of these need to support the technical work. If her body or her mindset are misaligned, a technical fix might not hold. So matches less than an hour is more a provocative anchor than a literal guarantee. It signals confidence that the flaw is identifiable, addressable, and perhaps simpler to correct than many assume. It's a call to action as much as a prediction. Implications for her career. If Matchy is right, or even partly right, about the impending serve transformation, the ripple effects for Gauff's trajectory could be enormous. More big match wins. In matches against top 1-0 players or in Grand Slams, serve errors often decide tight sets. A more reliable second serve could reduce giveaways that cost her momentum or sets.